Hey guys, and welcome back to Betwixt the Books. Many of you know that it is not unusual for us to disappear for long stretches of time, like 9 months or more. It's fine. Gretchen and I have been talking about how much we miss doing Booktube, and I have been not in the best of moods, so it would be great to have a hobby that I'm working on that I enjoy doing and talking to people with similar interests. So we're gonna get back into this, even if it's just an excuse for us to hang out with each other just a little bit. And since we are reintroducing ourselves into the Booktube pattern community, we figured that it would be a good idea to do the Booktube Newbie Tag so that some folks who have joined since we started might be able to come and find us, and also because we've actually learned a lot, and it's been 4 years since the last time that we did this tag almost, because we did this tag in 2015, and it's technically been 6 years since we started YouTube in general with our Bibliomancy for Beginners episodes in 2013. So we're definitely not new, but maybe we're new to you, and this is a good way to introduce ourselves.
Hey guys, do you even remember which one of us is which? I'm Gretchen, I think. Not 100% sure because it's been a while. And like Michaela said, it's just been a while since we've done a video, let alone since we started these videos. And, you know, my life has completely changed since the last time that we did this. I no longer have the same job that I did, so you can look forward to a longer video about that later on where I talk about some more real life lessons that I've learned. But in the meantime, we're going to get down to this tag. And the first question is, why did you start this channel? And Michaela and I and friends of ours from college started this channel, like Michaela said, back when we were wee bibs. And because we wanted to talk with like-minded friends about books. Hopefully we will link up above to our first Bibliomancy for Beginners episode, which is the name of our book club, which is me, Michaela, and our friend Taylor, who has shown up in many recent videos. Well, more recent than that one. We haven't done a book club in a while either. And at the time, my best friend Rachel was there for the first season. She did not continue on past the first season, but Michaela and Taylor and I stayed strong, and we liked doing that so much that we decided, Michaela and I, to start doing actual Booktube videos. So it started with those Google Hangouts where we just wanted to talk with our friends about books, and then it became something more where Michaela and I were doing discussions and reviews and everything under the sun, basically. And here we are, still trying to figure out how to do this many, many millennia later.
The only thing that I would add to that is that we had each independently run book blogs beforehand as well. Moving on, the second question is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? And I think the obvious thing, the one that's pretty glaringly obvious in your face, is that we're not just one person. A lot of Booktube channels are a single person's Booktube channels, which is great and is definitely the main way to do Booktube, to be the one person in your room talking to a camera and then everybody else talks to you. But we're two people, and we like to do videos talking to each other, talking with our friends. We'll each do individual videos as well, because we are different people and have different tastes and don't only read the books the other person reads, because we would go insane. But that's one of the most interesting things about the channel, I think, is that we have the capability to do discussion type content regularly. And there are channels around that have multiple hosts. Our friends at Literary Gladiators, for one, but there's also been buddy channels that I've seen for years. So hopefully you like that sort of thing, or even if you only like one of us, that you'll watch for them, because that'd be great.
Okay, question number 3 is, what are you excited about for this new channel? And the way that we, I think, need to phrase this question is, what are we excited about with this new revival of our channel? And if you have been here for a while, you know that Michaela and I do this thing where it's like when people say that they're gonna go to the gym more for their New Year's resolution, and they buy the gym membership in January and go like 2 times, and they're like, oh my god, we did it, and then they never go again. We tend to do that a little bit, just a little bit. But we do it because we love books, but also because we love talking to each other. And the very idea of getting Bibliomancy for Beginners back up and running again with me, Michaela, and Taylor, like, that's so exciting to us. Even if nobody watches an episode, we just want to do it because we value the reading experience that we have together. We value the different books that we make each other read, even though Taylor's picks and sometimes go just die in a hole. But like, whatever, you know, it's fine. But we value that experience, and so I'm just really excited to get back to talking to, you know, you guys, the viewers, about different books. I certainly have been reading, I just haven't been making videos. But mostly just want to get back to talking with Michaela and a little bit with Taylor about books.
Okay. Up until this point, we figured that rather than say the same things over each other and be a bit redundant, we would answer the questions individually. But some of the questions on here are things I think that both of us can answer the same question. And I think number 4 is one of the first one of those, because it is, why do you love reading? And I don't know whether Gretchen agrees with me, but if I had to put a finger on why I love reading, I'm not sure that I could do it. I couldn't just say, yes, this one thing is the thing that makes me love it. I love wordcraft and the way that syntax is formed. It's one of my favorite things because I'm a giant word nerd. I do languages, I do things like that, and books are like the embodiment of that. But there's also an escapist mindset thing where I don't really watch TV. I do enjoy movies, but I don't really watch TV, and I don't do a whole lot. I play some video games, but not like religiously. It's kind of my media of choice would be to read when I get the chance, or watch YouTube, or listen to podcasts. But yeah, it's kind of a mixture of the two, of like, this is my fun, relaxing thing, and also I'm a nerd about words. So that's kind of why I love it.
I love reading because of that moment when you shut the back cover on a really good book and you feel like your soul has left your body and then is coming back, and you just go, wow. Like, you just exhale so many emotions and feelings, and there's no good way to like put a word on what that feeling is, but a good book is just such an experience. And it's one that I have loved for my entire life. Some of my earliest memories are my dad reading, you know, picture books to me. And I've never known a moment in my life where I wasn't reading something exciting. And whether that was Harry Potter, you know, when I was younger, or, you know, Barbie chapter books, books on ponies, I don't know. I basically just consume words. In particular, I do like fantasy and adventure books, but I've found that, you know, as I've grown up, I'm not an adult, I'm not a grown-up, but as I have gotten older, I've just opened my eyes to all of the even more fantastic things than words can do, and really innovative books and words, and there's so much that people can do with just type on a page that is just amazing to me. So yeah, I guess that's why I love reading, because I'm in love with books. Just want to marry them all.
The 5th question is, what book or series got you into reading? And Gretchen and I were both young readers. I know a lot of folks answer this question with something like Twilight or The Hunger Games, because they were never really big readers as kids, and then the YA genre really hooked them, and that might just be because there's such a bias towards YA content on Booktube. So it's gonna be kids' books for us, I think. For me, it was the Pendragon series, and if you didn't know, we did an entire reread of that our last year of college, and with our friend Casey, and talked about the whole series as adults from their perspective, and I go into a lot of detail back then about why I really loved that series, even more than Harry Potter, shock and awe. But I think, yeah, outside of that, it would have been something like The Boxcar Children, or I really liked Laura Ingalls Wilder's books. I really liked Anna Green Gables and Ellen Montgomery's books. I really liked, I don't know, if I'm thinking about chapter books I loved Goosebumps. I loved The Bailey School Kids. Does anybody remember that? The Great Mouse Detective. I loved those. There's good books all over the place.
What books got me into reading? I learned to read by accident. My dad and my mom read me a lot of books, and then one day my dad came home and I was like sounding out words in a newspaper at the age of 3, and he was like, I don't remember teaching you this, but I guess it worked. My parents may be oversimplifying this story to make me sound more like a genius, which I am not, but that's just kind of how reading is to me. It's just that something that I just was like almost always doing from time immemorial as far as I'm concerned. But if I think back to some of the first books or stories that were really influential to me, I am the daughter of German immigrants, so I read a lot of Grimm's fairy tales and a lot of Disney storybook adventures, which I know are technically movies, but come on. They were also books that were read to me. One of the first books that was ever given to me and that I like owned as a visceral object was a copy of The Jungle Book, the Disneyfied version. If I go back to thinking about books that got me really excited about reading, I have very visceral memories about first the Nancy Drew mysteries, which I went into my local library and I started reading because there were a lot of them and I read really fast. So when I saw that whole big shelf of yellow covers, I was like, oh my god, this will keep me enraptured for a while. And so I read everything I could get my hands on. And then I did the same thing. That's why I started reading Tamora Pierce, who is the author of the Song of the Lioness series, the Protector of the Small series, a bunch of other books. I think she's literally written at this point over 30 books, but she was the first author who I read a book and I fell in love with like the author and the series. Like everything that she's put out I have bought in hardcover, and that was the first time I really remember thinking like I am in love with something. I did like the Harry Potter books. I wasn't a super crazy Harry Potter person. I know that's like sacrilegious to say, but true. But yeah, it was Tamora Pierce and Nancy Drew for me. I'm going to stop it there because I could give you an entire like bibliography, but we'll go there.
So the 6th question's a bit weird. It's what question would you ask your favorite booktuber? And I mean, the like professional in me wants to say, hey, let's network and talk and do things and talk to each other. You want to do that? That'd be great. That's a great question to talk to your favorite booktubers about. But I talk to a bunch of booktubers. I'm on the Poptimists Discord, which if you aren't on, you should go join. It's a bunch of cool book people. A lot of them make videos, but some of them don't make videos. They're just booktube watchers. So I could be like, hey, David, I would like to know the secret to the universe. Please tell me. You are so smart. I love your videos. But I could just ask him that, honestly, if I wanted to. This is going to be a test to see if he watches this.
I'm going to shout my question out to Josh from Literary Gladiators because I have entire and complete faith that at a certain point he will watch this, because I think that Josh believes in us more than we believe in ourselves sometimes. And I just want to say, Josh, how do you keep the faith when we don't? Because you are the sweetest all the time, and we thank you for your continued support on Facebook, on our videos, because even when we're like, oh God, we're awful, we know that you care, and that means a lot to us.
The seventh question is, what challenges do you foresee starting this channel that you think will be the hardest to overcome? And I think we all know that our answer to that can only be technology. I'm afraid of computers. No, it's consistency. We get really into it for a short period of time, and then we fall out of the habit and we don't do anything for months. And part of that is because our lives, and everybody's lives, are busy, and we start prioritizing other things. But I think both of us keep coming back to this because it is something that we enjoy and want to prioritize more. We just need to get better at doing that.
I completely agree with that. It's all about consistency, and it's not finding the time, it's making the time, because there's time. I'll be the first to admit that I've had time that I could be making the videos, but I've used it for other things. And I mean, Michaela and I have both been open about our struggles with anxiety and depression, and there's been a lot of time in this really hard after college real life period for us where we just want to be asleep and not a human. And that's been, I mean, at least for me personally, I'll say that that's been a huge struggle for me, that when I've had the time, I've been curled up in the fetal position. And I'll talk more about that when I talk about my hopefully more fantastic and healing life with my new job and everything. But, this makes us happy, and we have to remember that it's worth crawling out of bed because it will make us happy. Because just this act alone has made us happy. So gotta fight the desire to be asleep all the time.
On that note, we're going to go to a much lighter question, which is, when did you start reading? Quick answer, I think I was 3 or 4. I know before that my mom read to me and my dad read to me. They both were very into reading me stories. The memory that I have about learning to read was like, I was before school age. I don't think I was even going to daycare, and she had like one of those plasticky dry eraser boards for toddlers and was writing letters and teaching me that way and teaching me the sounds that all the letters made. And I remember learning that way when I was very young. Yeah.
I think I accidentally already answered this question. I was a virtuoso at 3. I probably wasn't. Again, parents like to, tell you that you're awesome when you're really just an average child. But it's around 3 somewhere. I was reading the paper, probably the economics section, because I'm so smart. No, I'm not good with numbers. It wasn't that. I don't know. It was 3.
The 9th question is, where do you read? And my answer to that is just about everywhere. I listen to a lot of audiobooks while driving, so in my car is one of those places. I think the number 2 place would probably be in bed, either early in the morning or late at night. I tend to read either to start my day or to end my day. It's if it's in the middle of the day, it's usually going to be an audiobook while driving. I don't often read in the middle of the day. Even if I have time on my lunch break or whatever, it's hard for me to like get into a book because I don't want to get into the book and then have to stop. But yeah, those places, on couches, in restaurants, anywhere I can, basically.
So my commute over doubled when I took my new job. So I'm definitely listening to a lot of audiobooks in my car. Although I was already listening to audiobooks on the Overdrive app on my phone. So that's not a change in medium for me, it's just a change in place. I read a lot at my desk, which you can't see, but it's over there because I'm in grad school, and I've already read over 140 books this year because grad school. And so I read frantically at my desk while writing the paper that I need to write on the book that I should have already read. I do have a super comfy pink chair over here that I read in when I'm more relaxed, but as I have already read 140 plus books this year, and it's friggin' April, I haven't really been doing too much relaxed reading. But I was in class today at the break between my classes, and it's like 15 minutes, and I had been sitting a lot at work, and I was holding the new Cassandra Clare book open in my hands and walking back and forth because I wanted to read, but I wanted to walk. So anywhere, if it's a good book, I will read it hanging upside down from a ladder. I don't know.
And the last question is, what do you like to read? And for me, I read just about anything. If you take a look at the shelves behind me and pause the video and zoom in, you'll find a weird smattering of adult fantasy, adult horror, adult literary, adult short story collections. There's young adult fantasy, middle grade, some middle grade fantasy, some middle grade sci-fi, some middle grade contemporary, and a switch, which is not a book. But I read almost anything. I read a lot of books in translation. Like, I'm all over the board, man. You're not going to find one specific thing here. There's going to be stuff all over the place. There's some plays back there. Isn't that crazy? Who reads plays who's not in high school? What's this?
So I read a lot of young adult, but I certainly have been expanding my reading, as I said, in the last couple of years. Right now I'm in the middle of trying to read an audiobook nonfiction biography about every single United States president, which has been harder than I thought it would be to find those books in the correct medium about certain presidents that aren't like Abraham Lincoln and FDR. Good times. I read a lot of historical fiction as well. I love nonfiction, historical, that is not about American presidents. I have some books behind me that are on the Russian dynasty, Egyptian, a lot of English and British history. When I read YA, it's typically fantasy. I do read some sci-fi and a little bit of realism if it's good. I tend to not be super into a book that's just a romance, particularly in my jaded old age. I also have been reading a lot of picture books lately and middle grade because I'm getting a master's in children's literature along with my master's in library science. And I'm in a class this year called Picture Book, which is how I have already read 140 plus books. 120 of those already have been picture books for this class, which has been eye-opening for me. So I will read anything as long as it's good, and I'll try anything once. Last year, Michaela got me to read a true crime novel for the first time, and I cannot recommend Michelle McNamara's new book highly enough. I tell that to people all the time and give Michaela credit if they're still listening to me after I tell them all about the book. So yeah, that's why I love our book club, especially because I know that sometimes I can be like, I just want a fantasy book, but there's a lot of good stuff out there that's really neat and innovative. So if you recommend it to me, eventually, somewhere along the line when I'm not in school, I'll probably give it a try.
From us, in the near future, we have decided to have one buddy read with each other. We're going to try and read Vicious by V.E. Schwab to talk about by the end of the month. We have also discussed starting book club up again, but that won't start until the following month, the month of May, which is quickly coming upon us, honestly, because time is, I don't know, I feel like it's moving faster than normal. And then the two of us each are going to do our best to put out one video a week, whether it be a single review, like a discussion type thing, an update on our lives, because vlogging is a thing and discussions are a thing and all of that stuff. You'll have that to look forward to, and hopefully we can try and make this something that we prioritize in our lives and something that happens every week because we love it and because we want to hang out with each other and because it's important to us, and we should make sure that we treat it like it's important.
I don't know how to say anything much better than Michaela just said it, but I traditionally close these videos, so hey, it's my face. and hopefully you'll be seeing more of it on my own, more of it with Michaela's, more of Michaela's on her own, and then unfortunately you'll see Taylor's in May. But honestly, I can't even joke about it. I miss our discussions. I miss talking to Michaela on a regular basis. I miss talking to Taylor on a regular basis. And I miss talking to people whose opinions I value about books on a regular basis. And also about other things, but really, why discuss anything but books? Books are the best and I love them. And I want to get back to doing more things that I love. And that includes talking to the people that I love and reading the books that I love, hopefully in between school assignments. So here we go again, trying this journey out. And thanks for coming along on the ride with us. Thanks, guys.